Hi, I'm Kate Gwinnett, the author of Cardiff Property News and Sales and Lettings Director at Northwood Cardiff. So I've been looking at how the Cardiff property market and values have changed over the last few decades since the early 80s, and it's something that I just thought I would share with you guys as well. So I'm sure that every Cardiff homeowner and property investor wish they had the hindsight to buy up every property in Cardiff. When we look at the property values, they have actually increased by 568%. Not bad, and even when we consider inflation is 272%, it still means that in real terms, Cardiff property values have increased by 296%. Yet the changes in the property market in Cardiff do run deeper than just the increase in house values, and it was always going to be hard to predict what was going to happen over the last couple of decades. So when we have a look at the local authority data for Cardiff, in 1981, 27% of people were council tenants, and we will look at how that's changed today. It's now dropped quite significantly down to 17%. Now, of course, that's mainly attributed to Margaret Thatcher giving tenants the right to buy their council houses, and that has had an impact on the private rented sector as well. And actually, when we compare values from 1981 to today, the proportion of private rented properties has actually doubled in that same time period. So what about if we look at homeowners as well? So what's the difference between 1980s and now? Well, actually, surprisingly, there's not that much of a change. So if we look at 1981, there was around 61% of people in Cardiff owned their own property, and that's only dropped very slightly now to 59%. Yes, when we look back between the 80s and 90s, it did have quite a big jump and increased at that time. Again, that was partly to do with the council tenants buying up all the council properties. Now, unfortunately, that has left a little bit of a problem now for the younger generation of today, where there is a shortage of council properties, and they are being forced now into the private rented sector. And as I've mentioned in other videos, they still have the issue now of raising deposit funds and obtaining a mortgage. So I think all of those reasons are going to help with the buy-to-let investment sector that's going to continue to grow within Cardiff. The Cardiff property market is constantly changing, and I think with the buy-to-let market we have been quite heavily dependent on house price values and not maybe considering yields as much. Now, with the changes that are probably going to hit some landlords' pockets, we've had the stamp duty changes and we've got the upcoming taxation law changes. Yield is going to be really more important than ever, and making sure you invest in the right property in the right location that's going to attract the right tenants. As always, I'm always happy to give my advice on any properties that you see. Feel free to email me the Rightmove or the Zoopla link, and I'll happily give you my advice. So you can email kategwinnett@northwooduk.com, or feel free to pick up the phone on 0290 301 141, and always check out my blog where I always post some handy tips for you as well. Thanks very much.